Hey everybody, it is Tuesday, 4 p.m. in the Eastern, which means it is time for the Monster Maverick show. And I just noticed when I was looking at the list of people, in the broadcast audience, that I'm now listed as Neil McSpreadsheet. And apparently, Rondon says it's been like that for 3 days, and I'm just noticing now. Well, you know, it just goes to show how much I notice the small details on PalNet of the Discord. But yeah, I've been chatting a little bit in the spicy chat channel, and I read the crypto trading discussion section. Well, sometimes it's the little things. We actually have a lot of little things to go over today, but yeah. So welcome everybody. It's another week. It's the end of the year. It's December 29th. So December 31st is obviously right around the corner. I was just struggling with clients trying to get payroll done by the end of the year in order to qualify for PPP purposes. But that's a whole other show, really. But we got some people filing in here. We got Alpha Chino, we got Biz, we got Edicted, Inertia, Paul TRX, Rondon, producer extraordinaire, Yabba P Matt, one of our great founders, the coding genius behind Splinterlands. So yeah, we got a bunch of stuff to talk about. A bunch of stuff of things that have happened during the year. Nice little retrospective. Things that are upcoming for next year, and just a smorgasbord of other topics. So as always, I always like to remind people, Deck 101, Deck 404. Those are our Discord-based Splinterland services. Deck 101 is where if you want to sell your rewards cards, you don't feel like fiddling with the market and sitting there and waiting and not getting paid that much because a lot of them don't go for that much over burn rates. Just send it to Deck 101 and you get one block later, 3 seconds. You get payment of 101% of the burn rate. Alphagina says, "Hi, I usually miss your show. So glad to catch this morning. You must be in the other hemisphere, but welcome. Glad you made it." And then Deck 404 is our account sharing service where owners of cards delegate cards to a playing account or a gamer account is what we call it. Then a player comes in and plays that account for quests and season rewards and all those kinds of things. And then all the rewards are liquidated and then split 50-50. So we actually had a vote. So this was a miscommunication between Gerber and I, and Gerber's the other half behind the Deck 101 and Deck 404 services, where I had thought that we were splitting packs, and turns out we had been opening them. So I put in a vote in the Deck 404 channel on the Discord, and I was saying, well, do you want packs to be open and then the cards liquidated and then Dark Energy Crystal split, or do you want the packs to build up to an even number and then split the packs? So it was actually a 1-by-1 vote, and we're gonna switch that to packs being built up to even numbers and then split between the player and the gamer. So that is a little update there, and the we have some very cool stuff coming in 2021. I still can't tell you what it is, but it's going to be amazing. And the thing that we're waiting on is Gerber to finish futzing around with D-City, because that's his primary baby, I guess. So our stuff comes after the development on that is done, and they're doing a lot of cool new things with their latest expansion, as far as combining NFTs and creating new events in the D-City ecosystem, positive events and negative events, and then you can, there's going to be economic depressions, which will lower your employment, and then you can create new cards out of old cards by combining them together, and then that will have effects that counteract those system-wide events. So really cool stuff. Still has not been released yet, so our stuff is waiting behind that. Other cool things to keep in mind, or just to be aware of, so Cal from Leo Finance dropped a tweet earlier today. There's the biggest airdrop ever seen on Hive is coming to Leo Power /WLeo holders. Announcement coming soon. So that's kind of exciting. Now, I do know what this is about because, me and Cal are tight like that, but I do not know the specifics. So, it might, if you're following the Leo project, Leo Finance, Leo Dex, Hive Stats, and you like what has been doing, like how that's been going, you might want to consider, taking this into consideration. That's all I'm saying. It says this has been a long time in the making. The architecture design process alone has taken our team several months and also required us to bring on a new member to focus on this full time. And yes, this has been an announcement to announce the announcement. So this is not the official announcement. Many of you already know what this project is, as we've talked about it publicly and sourced ideas from members in our community. The core idea remains the same, but the project itself has taken on a much bigger meaning as we continued the design process. And then if you go over to Leo Finance, oops, if I can type, you will see some interesting stuff. Now, I'm not saying that, the announcement is on the front page of Leo Finance, but I am saying that things about what the announcement is about is on the front page, and you'll have to do a little bit of investigation on your own for that. And so anyway, just FYI, right? I do not directly benefit from any of this. I am a Leo holder and all that kind of stuff, and I'm a supporter of the project, but that's about it. I'm a whale, but an enthusiastic whale, just like I am with Splinterlands. So, take that for what it's worth. And Foxcoin is dropping a YouTube video from Boston Dynamics. Do you love me? Did you see this? They are here to take your works. I'm not going to play that right now. I'll check it out later. But, you never know what's going to make it into the recording. How lot you hold, Leo? Like, how much do I hold? I've got like 50,000, something like that. And most of that is in the liquidity pool. Then I've got another chunk in my wallet. Excuse me. I need to take a drink. Someone should level up so I can drink more. But yeah, I also have about 1,500 Leo miners. So, we'll see how that goes. Rich list Leo. Yeah, I'm actually not going to show up on that because my rich list, or my Leo, is mostly in the wrapped Leo liquidity pool. So we'll touch on liquidity pools in just a moment here, because there was a recent announcement about that. But one of the this may get buy a lot of Hive on the list of things I'm not going to be doing is buying a lot of Hive. So one of the great things about so my main business, Tax Sherpa, so we've been working a lot on the back end as far as getting things organized, right? And so we implemented using Monday.com as far as our task management and project management kind of stuff. And I've actually started using it for Monster Maverick. So I actually have this whole list of things. You can't see it on my screen because it's in a different window, but I have this whole list of things to talk about. And it's like an itinerary or an agenda or whatever. And it's just amazing to have organization and things prepared rather than just kind of winging it. So, Inertia says everybody can buy a lot of Hive. That's true, because Hive is super cheap. What is it at, 11 cents? Something like that? Let's see what Banjo says. 11.2 cents, down 5%. Hey, we'll see. But, if you guys did not get one, there was an email sent out to the Splinterlands email list. And it was pretty good, I thought. I'm just going to get some quick blurbs from it. Maybe I'll paste some of this here. Let's do that. It's over 2,000 characters. Can't do that. Okay. So I won't do that. So they're saying that the email comes from Agro. So it says we've had a great year. Revenue is expected to come in 1.5 million, 25% increase over last year. Good for them. Doesn't really affect us that much as players and users. But here's the interesting part. Player base has grown from 22,000 registered users to 45,000 registered users. That's double over a year, which is great. We've had a total of 44.6 million matches played. We're averaging over 100,000 per day. Land sales, obviously, we know about land sales. The the first one sold out immediately. Second one sold out very, very quickly. Third one is not sold out, still open for another couple days, and looking like that will not end up selling out. In fact, let's take a quick look here. Land. Ba, ba, ba. So, we got 2 days and 2 hours and 48 minutes left of land sale. And does it say how much is left? I don't even know. Region. Oh, we can only buy one region. Yeah. Not sure how much is left. But it's looking like it's not going to sell out. Yabba says, we're okay with it not selling out. It will all sell it eventually. It will just be at full price. It's great. And that's going to the suckers. So Paul brings up an interesting point here. Our raffle is suddenly going to be worth a lot more. So yes. So if you go back to my old post on the raffle math, that was assuming that the land sale stage 3 sells out and at mostly discounted prices, for the bulk sales of regions and tracks. And it's looking like that's not going to be the case. So in the raffle drawing, there's going to be far fewer raffle tickets. Well, not far fewer, but 10, 15, 20% fewer than what we expected, which means that the expected value is going to be 10, 20, 15% higher per ticket. And Biz is still trying to arrange one more pool, buying land round 3 prices. Now, keep in mind, so dark energy crystals, if we go over to here, to trading view, dark energy crystals are trading at, 831 splintoshis here. And so if we're at, 10,500,000 or 10 million, yeah, times 0.00083146684. That's a $8,000, $8,730 region, which is actually lower than the $9,000 that I paid. Now, granted, I've got my deck mostly through gaming over the course of like a year, but still, that's sticks in the craw just a little bit. That people could come in and buy at what is effectively a cheaper price than what I paid at that time, because it's always opportunity cost, right? Because if I have 9 million dark energy crystals, which I used to, I could have sold them, or I could have bought the land sale 2. Now, granted, I do get a legendary totem out of that because I missed out on land sale 1, so that might make up for it a bit. But I don't know if it's going to make up for $300. We'll see. I know Yabba's been dropping hints that he thinks that legendary totems will be worth quite a bit more, but we shall see. So, but the email goes on. Created a number of great partnerships: Electronium, COGS, Blockchain Heroes, Galley Games. By the way, I had no idea COGS were so pricey. Because there was the promotion they had last week, the week before. If you buy some packs, you'll get some COGS, and I just kind of ignored it because I don't have time for any other games. And apparently people were selling them for a lot, so I guess I missed out on that one. And Aggro goes on to say, we've done all that in an absolutely brutal market. For starters, we're considered the number 1 game in crypto, but the base token Hive is literally worth 1/7,000th the price of Ethereum. Okay, like many altcoins. Yeah, it's great that Hive has no transaction fees. It makes the game possible. So kudos to that. But as far as attracting outsiders, it doesn't, because Hive doesn't attract outsiders like that. And then we're looking to 2021 as a banner year for crypto and Splinterlands. Talking about Bitcoin rising. Splinterlands is perfectly positioned to take advantage of gaming partnerships as companies and people who want to plant a flag in the crypto space will have to figure out how to build here or rely on those who already do. As the largest game in crypto and built on a chain that can scale, we're uniquely positioned as a company to grow, which sounds great. In case you missed it, doing crowdfunding stuff. They're looking at that as a way to grow our investor base and player base at the same time. And then it says there's a few days left to sign a safe in 2020. It still carries a 25% discount to the lead round. We're targeting $5 billion raise in 2021 on a $20 million pre-money valuation. Given the new market conditions, it's pretty investor friendly. If you'd like to get in, then you can contact Aggro there. And the bottom line here, we've done all this bootstrapping on a poorly known blockchain in a massive bear market, and we're extremely excited to see where we can go over the next year as hordes of new users and new money start pouring into the blockchain space. Will you be there with us in the Splinterlands, or will you tell your friends how you had the chance and passed? I was just saying, I was told Bitcoin would be 29,000 today. We were told that, weren't we? It's turned green though. We're back up to 27,146. Nice little reversal candle. So it's not all bad. But yeah, I'm still calling 29.5 by December 31st. So we got 2.5 days for that. So that was the email that Agrid sent out to the Splinterlands list. I thought it was worth reviewing. Check your email if you didn't get it, because maybe it's in like spam or something. So take it out of there if you can. So so here, there's another tweet that I wanted to share, which is this one here. Oh, I forgot to mention that you can look at my screen and follow along. Oh shit, that email only went to investors. Good to know. So, the key thing there is that the user base is up, which is great. We're going to look at the charts here for a little bit. And games played are up, and that is the key to the whole thing. Player base growth, like I've been saying for weeks and weeks and weeks, months and months, possibly years, is the key to everything. So Splinterlands came out with this post just a little while ago. The Great Gala, an epic bronze tournament, December 31st, 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. UTC. Register and challenge. Remember the challenge where we did the live tournament brackets, which was I don't know if fun is the right word. It was entertaining. Let's say that. So the it's year end. Gala Games is one of the Splinterlands partners. I know they had, I forgot the guy's name. Was it Eric? I don't know, somebody from Gala on the AMA a while ago. So worth supporting, I think. So, but some of the cool stuff is that you can win Mirandus land from Go Gala Games and more. And if you go over to the actual page, you'll see here that a whole bunch of stuff. So Mirandus, which you get number one prize is an outpost deed, which is worth $500. A crane, second and third get a crane bot for Townstar, valued at $300, and the fourth is a homestead deed for Mirandus, valued at $100, which is a nice chunk of change. Now I have not played any of these games, and I might check them out now that we have some exposure to them. But always worth a tournament, and then on down from there, prizes are on Gala coins and other goodies, so worth checking out. In fact, is it live on the events tab? It probably is. Upcoming D City, that's 1-1. A game. Actually, I don't see it. That's interesting. We'll have to. I see Pioneer Bank, and I see D City, but that's it. By the way, these city tournaments are worth checking out. A lot of times, it's basically just free money. So, not enough people enter them. I forget what you need entry tokens, which you can get through D City. But it's check out D City. It's complementary to Splinterlands. A lot of the same players are there, and also makes a nice passive return. D City is a much more passive game, which I like. So events tab only shows tournaments created through the game, not external challenge ones. Okay, fair enough. I thought they would have created some for the game as well, but yeah, is what it is. Check it out on the challenge link, and I guess register there. So, back what I was saying about following along on the screen. Obviously, anybody who's watching the replay on YouTube can see it there. But if you're listening to the replay on Spotify or on Anchor FM or Google Podcasts, then you check out the YouTube video. But if you're live, You can go to theta.tv, you can go to mspwaves.com, you can go to vim.tv, I think it is. I can never remember the URLs. But Krim is here. Says, sorry she's late. One of those days is an understatement. I've had many of those days, so I understand. So that is a fun little thing that came out just a little while ago, and worth checking out. Okay, so in the email, we talked about how users grew and everything, but I wanted to see that in an actual chart, not Hive Stats. What is Rafalski's site? Hive Space? Hive.space? Space.hive? Why am I blanking on this? Hive Data? HiveData.space. There we go. Jeez. I do this every week. You think I'd know the URL by now. But let's check out going back to 1.1. Okay. Battles. So here we can see battles fought. And you see a serious uptick over the course of the year. Averaging 84,850 over the course of the year, but lately it's been more like 100,000. And 4 challenge games a day. That's actually kind of surprising. I didn't think anybody was doing that. 47 practice games a day. I bet a lot of those are new users. Let me actually post this here. And 1885 surrendered a day. That's not bad. 1.5%, 2%, something like that. The surrender games is often an indicator of, of either, I'm not sure how Rafalski counts it here, if that includes tournament battles, but if it does, then a lot of that is just people who didn't submit stuff. If it doesn't, then that's going to be a lot of like bot mismatch kind of stuff in the probably in the lower leagues. But let's go ahead and look at users, all active users. Here we see a nice uptrend. Again, which is great to see, starting at lower left. Yaba says he thinks he's counting people who actually click surrender. Could be. Lower left is 3156. Upper right is 5797 in terms of total users. This is under the real players. If we look at including the transacting, which is has huge spikes at season ends. Inertia says people like me who don't play certain splinters are being forced to. Yeah, if you don't have a complete deck, that can be hard. Because sometimes, so anybody who's on a daily quest, their splinter will always be enabled. But if you are not on a daily quest, sometimes you can have a match where there's only one splinter available, and if you don't have that one, you're stuck. So it's in your interest in those regards to have a complete deck. But if you want to take the L and lose the points, then hey, that's an investment decision you can make. So with all users, including playing plus transacting, we see on the bottom right, we hit a dip way down there, 33.97, and this most latest day we have 59.30. So again, about double, which is great. What do we see on tournaments? Tournaments is not such a useful thing. Purchases. Well, let's look at purchases. So we have this huge spike here back in, I guess, beginning of May. I suppose that was the Untamed release, or I don't even know if we're in the right year anymore. So that kind of skews the graph here, but we can see that the average is booster packs is 1206 a day. That's a good chunk of packs. Obviously, a lot of those are given away in quest and season rewards, but still, that is a lot. Let's see what we have under cards, delegations, and not so useful. Quest finish ratio. This is a little bit interesting. That the quest finish ratio 84% a day, which is not bad, I think. My copy didn't take. Here we go. Anyway, so I think all these charts together do paint a picture of growth over the last year, which is great. And I agree with Agrod's position that new highs in Bitcoin is going to attract more attention. More people will start jumping into crypto, and a lot of those will funnel into the Splinterlands ecosystem. So that's all, to the good. Plus, the Google app is live. iOS is being submitted sometime soon. They still need to work on the development there and getting the tutorials and everything into the mobile game, but tournaments as well. But I think it's all trending upwards. So I am a fan, and I am cautiously optimistic, as always, I guess. So, that I think is a great picture. So that's the past, though. In the future, we got to look at different things because the future might rhyme with the past, but it is not the same. So let's take a look again at Bitcoin here, and let's zoom out for a week. So this is not financial advice that I'm about to share, but take with it whatever you want to take with it. So let me zoom here, get my scale right. Okay. So this is Bitcoin's chart, and this is a log chart, meaning that the y-axis is powers of 10 basically, rather than multiples of 10. So from one level to another is 10x, and from that level to the same vertical space is another 10x. So from that bottom to the top becomes 100. So I say all that to say that these angled line segments are not straight lines. They are exponential curves. But they have been supporting trend lines that we've seen in the crypto market for a long time. Years and years, basically. And, if you follow Plan B stuff, with the stock to flow model and just other kind of logic-based arguments, with the halving, cutting the marginal supply of Bitcoin in half every 4 years, we tend to have 4-year cycles. So that halving obviously occurred in the summer of 2020. And since then, pandemic aside, things have been trending upward nicely. So in the last cycle, you can see that on this, on the left-hand portion where you see that blue bar that's going upwards has that 998.63%. So that is a measurement of the extension above the trend curve, which is an exponential curve, to the market peak. So we 10x'd basically, so 1,000% above the trend line. So if we take that same increase, that puts us at, somewhere in the summer of 2021, that puts us at $205,000 per Bitcoin. Now, obviously, that does not directly impact Splinterlands in any way. What that does impact is people's attention being drawn into crypto. So we're going to see hordes of people, assuming I'm anywhere close to right, we're going to see hordes of people getting into crypto for the first time, and those people will say, well, crypto's cool and all, but A, I don't want to buy $205,000 coin. B, what's all this other stuff? When they see DApp ratings and everything. And obviously that's going to be a smaller percentage, but the numbers are going to be so big that a smaller percentage will do us just nicely. So I expect a lot of those people to make their way into Splinterlands. On top of that, the Bitcoin whales or the Ethereum whales or whichever whales have all this money to throw around. It's that wealth effect kind of thing. People make fun of Ben Bernanke for talking about it, but he's absolutely right. Enersh is asking, is there any credible counter narrative to stock to flow? It depends on what you mean by credible. The counter narrative is that it's all a scam, right? It's worth nothing, backed by nothing, uses power equal to a third world country, and so on. But there's no direct, counter argument. Yabba says that it will have to fall apart at some point. So yeah, I was saying this in a different Discord the other day, that Bitcoin and crypto in general is still a very binary bet. It will either survive and take its place as a monetary instrument, or it won't. So if it doesn't, it will go to zero. If it does, it won't go to zero. It'll go to some other number. And yeah, so but saying if you follow it out 30 years, it gets totally ridiculous. So it will work until it doesn't. Yeah, it's not going to be a smooth exponential curve. It's going to be a logarithmic curve, and we can see that here. in this chart, these two cycles are at different angles. And those different angles represent different exponential growth rates. And the current one we're on is on a slower one than the previous one. And that's because as things grow and become larger, they are harder to move. And then you just have that logarithmic growth function type of thing where it flattens out at the top. But we are still, I think we're going to have this cycle and next cycle as booms, and then after that it'll be mature, and it will not grow at that same rate. And basically, I think this cycle is going to be about the institutions. You have your MicroStrategies. Elon Musk is tweeting, stupid stuff about Bitcoin. But you have all these companies that are coming in and saying, "Hey, we should look at this and possibly use Bitcoin as either an inflation hedge or a treasury asset or however you want to phrase it." But there a lot of companies are actively developing interest in Bitcoin and buying it. So this wave, I think, is going to be all about that market segment, the smart money, and then after that, we'll have the true monetization where it becomes a daily part of people's lives. Oh, Agrod's here. Welcome. So that's the stock to flow model and projection, and what you should really check out is the S2FX, which is the stock to flow cross asset model. Who invited Agrod? And that he instead of a time series like Agrod has here, he's got a multi asset curve fit, basically, where he's got Bitcoin in its different epochs of different happenings, as well as gold and silver and real estate, and there's one or two other things in there. But let's see if I can find that real quick. Let's say Plan B S2FX graph chart. That's not the one. That's not the one. Here we go. This is the one. So this is the cross asset model, which is his latest iteration. So basically, the different halving cycles correspond to these different colored dots, and then the blue is the actual price of Bitcoin in those different epochs. So you can see that in the beginning, obviously, it's much more spread out because much more volatile, and then as we've gone into the different epochs, it's tightened up quite a bit, and now we will see how it comes, how it develops for this current one. So. I think his projections, he said 288,000. I think that's reasonable, and I know it's crazy to say, but that's exponential math for you. But so, with all that coming in the future, hopefully, if things go as we expect them to, then we're going to see a lot of new Splinterman players, and I'm excited about it. So, as part of that, we have this update, which came from I don't know who actually wrote this, but if it sounds like Yaba. Yaba, you can confirm or deny or not, but it sounds like you're ready. So there's the Uniswap Dark Energy Crystal Ethereum liquidity pool, and through I guess tomorrow or the day after, people who are involved in that pool on a monthly basis get a promotional reward in terms of land plots. So Yaba confirms nothing. So like for me, I got 26 land plots out of providing liquidity, because I provided liquidity up to land sale number 1, and then I withdrew it, but then I ended up not winning, so it just kind of sat there. But that runs out for at the end of December. So what they are doing is they are creating a new Dark Energy Crystal reward pool. And this chunk right here, a new source of Dark Energy Crystal inflation will be added to the game that will specifically be paid out to liquidity providers in the Dark Energy Crystal Ethereum Uniswap pool. The new inflation source will produce a total of 100 million new Dark Energy Crystals over the course of 1 year, which is approximately 274,000 per day. It may sound like a lot at first, but in the scheme of things, it's actually relatively small, while still providing some very enticing returns for liquidity providers. Please see the Dark Energy Crystal economy section below for more details on that. Starting on January 1st, 2021, approximately 274,000 Dark Energy Crystals will be awarded every day to accounts that provide liquidity to the Dark Energy Crystal Ethereum Uniswap pool, in proportion to the amount of liquidity they have provided as compared to the total in the pool. As always, the liquidity provided by Splinterlands, roughly 65,000/40 million Dark Energy Crystals, will not be eligible for the promotion and will not be counted in liquidity totals. At the time of the writing, there's around 80 million DEC in the pool after taking out Splinterlands portions, which means the liquidity providers will earn 62% returns in DEC tokens per year. Now that is in bold, and it is worth putting in bold because that's a lot. So, it's interesting. We've talked over the past couple of weeks about what the kind of expected ranges of Dark Energy Crystals are, and we know how Yabba and Agro talked on the last AMA, or maybe this one before, about how DECs is sort of the stable coin of the Splinterlands economy. So if you know your ranges and you're looking at providing liquidity, then 62% is really attractive, and that's in DEC terms. So when we look at the lows, daily is not a good look for that. I always have to adjust this chart because it has this tracking error thing. What's the factor of 1,000 between friends? So Dark Energy Crystal chart here. We can see that the lows are like 70 or 700 Splintoshis and highs are about 1,000. And it kind of bounces in those ranges. And there's very good reasons for that based on the fundamentals of how Dark Energy Crystals work and how the burn rates of cards and the price of cards in USD all interrelate. So, 65, 650 Splintoshis, kind of your absolute bottom before arbitrage sets in. So if you're looking at pooling Dark Energy Crystals to get to them, don't call them Splintoshis. We'll talk to Aggro, that's what he calls them. So if you're looking at providing liquidity and you get in at into one of those low areas, then that can be really attractive because now you're making 62% in Dark Energy Crystal terms, potentially. As competition increases, that'll decrease, but you're also getting market upside. So the great thing about the liquidity pools on Uniswap is that there's no long period lockup. You can add liquidity, you can withdraw liquidity at any time, and so that is a really interesting plan or a really interesting approach to rewarding that liquidity. Spray. So as more liquidity is contributed to the pool, this is the point I was just making, that number will come down a bit, but considering that there's not a whole lot of DEC left in circulation at this point because of the land sales, we expect the returns to remain very high, which is the goal in order to incentivize participation. And then there's a reward bonus multiplier, and this is kind of geyser related if you are in the Ethereum world. We also want to encourage people to provide liquidity consistently and for longer periods of time and reward those who do. As a result, a bonus multiplier will be added to each participant's percentage of the liquidity pool based on the amount of time they have kept their liquidity in the pool. Participants will earn a 1% bonus multiplier to the amount of liquidity they provided for each day they remain in the pool, each day up to a maximum of 100%, or a 2x bonus, which can be reached after remaining in the pool for 100 days. If at any time an account removes an amount of liquidity from the pool, their bonus multiplier will reset to 0. And so that's very similar to other geyser models where they want to incentivize you to like I said with Leo, pool early and pool often. And they go through some math here. New Uniswap rewards will be able to be claimed from the Splinterlands game website in the same way as rewards from the currently running promotion. Players can click on the Claim Uniswap Rewards option in the settings menu and enter their Ethereum wallet address to see what rewards they have available to claim. Then they will have the option to claim them, which will pop up MetaMask or other Web3 wallet to sign a message proving ownership of the wallet. Please note that signing a message does not require making a transaction on the Ethereum blockchain and therefore is an instant and has no fees. So this is great. if you've never participated in an Ethereum signature thing, it's true. It's MetaMask just pops up. You click sign, no gas is spent, and because this is actually a Hive-based token that you're getting, there's no gas fees. And then you could port it over to Ethereum if you wanted to, but that's a different decision, because part of the great thing about having a Dark Energy Crystal liquidity pool is that it's tied to Ethereum. And we go back to the charts, we see Ethereum's doing all right. We're at 725 right now, and it's just been chugging along. Now it's below its all-time highs compared, which is compared to Bitcoin is not as strong. But I think, once some of the smart money switches over to Ethereum, which it will, we're going to see dramatic, increases. So I would not be surprised to see Ethereum at 4,000, 5,000, 10,000, even on later on in this cycle. Typically, like what we saw last cycle, it lagged by about a month, but then it went, not to the moon. It went to 1,400, but compared to where it came from, that was pretty high. So I think Ethereum has a lot of upsides. And now, as a liquidity pool, if there's no trading at all, then Dark Energy Crystal will just move along with Ethereum and on up and up, assuming Ethereum goes up. If there is trading, then that will adjust. But, it's never quite one for one. And we see this in the Leo pool. We see this in the Dark Energy Crystal pool, that, the gains are in very similar percentage moves. So that's all great. That's a big benefit to tying Dark Energy Crystal to Ethereum through that liquidity pool. But there's a downside in that you have to pay gas to do stuff. So if we look at let's look at Ethereum gas, EthereumPrice.org. So you can see that that's just this week. Can we look even bigger? So this is the gas price over the last 7 days. We've seen dramatic spikes. 250. I saw somebody on the Curve Discord paid like $350 to enter a smart contract or something. Crazy stuff. And this is kind of a heat map look at the same thing. But it can be very, very expensive if the network is congested. This is just a problem that Ethereum has. Now, they are talking about their scaling solutions and sharding and whatever. They have launched their ETH2 contract, but it's not doing anything yet. So, 2 years. That's what they always say. Hopefully a scaling solution for Ethereum comes faster than that. And if so, it's to the moon, because once Ethereum is easy to transact in, then, it's going to be the cat's meow and all that kind of stuff. So, just keep that in mind when you're entering or exiting liquidity pools, like with Dark Energy Crystals. There are gas fees, and because it's smart contract stuff, then it's more expensive than a regular just sending Ethereum kind of thing. Plus, if you want to move your Dark Energy Crystals back and forth, that's more gas that you have to spend. The nice thing about the Splinterman's interface, I move all my Dark Energy Crystals to and from Ethereum through the game interface, and they charge 1,000 Dark Energy Crystals, which is pretty cheap. They're definitely subsidizing Ethereum gas. I'm a boomer, apparently. That's okay. I'm a Gen Xer, but in spirit, I'm a boomer. That's fine by me. So that's all to the good, but just be aware of those issues. And before I forget, I wanted to draw attention to a post I made recently. How much is the gas fee? It depends on what you're doing. Oh, where's my post? The whole having a blog and then posts being different is, I think, dumb, but whatever. Anyway, here is the post. I'm buying raffle tickets. I had 928 Hive, burning a hole in my pocket after some power downs. So it wasn't really enough to worth cashing out to Bitcoin. So I was like, I'll buy some raffle tickets. And since I made this post, the market seems to have moved without me, because right now, let's refresh here. How many dollars? I don't know right this second, but several. Let's see. So this is the raffle, buy sells in Leo Dex. And right now I have 0 raffle, which makes me sad. But my bid is still showing there. You can see me down there at that 928 1.06. So if anybody's selling in bulk, hit me up, because I like those. I like those odds better now. And Biz is saying, what do I hope to win? What I want or hope to win in the well, obviously I want region. If I could be, if I could match, Matt Two Castles Clark, then I would be very pleased with that. Now, historically, my luck with random kind of things like this, random number sort of things, is bad. So I don't expect to win a region. I do hope to at least get some totems out of it. Right now I have, what do I have, 9,000? Let's check my inventory. Raffle tickets, yeah, 9,000. And by the way, Yaba and Aggro, just some feedback. This is a weird design interface, having the balance being below like that and other things in different columns. It's like, if things are going to be stacked, then they should be stacked. If they're going to be in columns, they should be in columns. So for me, I would, where did I go? For me, I would put everything in a separate column. So balance would be a separate column next to that. Just, feedback. So yeah, I've got 9,000 raffle tickets. If I buy some more, maybe I'll get up to 10,000-ish. And we're looking at 800,000 or 900,000 total. So hopefully that will work out. So right now I've got about 1% of the pool of raffle tickets. So we'll see. It's entirely possible I get skunked, but hopefully not. I'm not optimistic about it, but I'm hopeful. Without reason, let's say. I guess that's what hope is, right? Not having reason. Now, another game update to consider is Aggro came out with a post about Splinterman's tournament updates. Right there. And it's a lot. So basically, Aggro, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but basically everything's being refigured to be more spread out. And with the change in the entry fees kind of stuff, it's people have been complaining nonstop in the Discord. So as Aggro likes to say, there's really only one complaint in crypto, and that's I want to do less and get paid more. So just another day in tournament paradise. And so this here we have the schedule of rotating stuff, which I think is fairly even. It goes through a whole bunch of different leagues and different editions and all that kind of stuff. We do know that roughly half of the tournaments are geared towards the current edition, which in this case is Untamed, or Untamed plus Dice. And then the payouts, they're paying out $2,750 per week for regular tournaments. We have $1,000 a month brawler using $5,500 divided by 2 weeks. We calculate the amount of money available. Then we use the adjusted collection power amount of each tournament to determine value per tournament. This result can be seen in row Z, talking about this spreadsheet here. And let's go ahead and paste that in. So you can take a look at all this kind of stuff if you are in the mood. But basically, I am strongly of the belief that tournaments should be for appropriate league players only. And this is contrary to what other people have been doing, and even to a degree of what is showing here. Because if we have a bronze level tournament with a certain reward structure, a certain amount of payout going into there, I think only bronze players should go in there. And if we have a diamond level tournament, only diamond players should be in there. And I think that's just. Oh, Biz agrees with me. He supports more league-specific tournaments too. So that's going beyond what is here, where there's just different levels of fees to make it disincentive. Because if I just try to put myself in the mind of a new player, just got the Summoner Spellbook, playing around, got some virtual cards, maybe has some rewards cards, and is in the Bronze League, legitimately, and is a new player. I think giving them a realistic option of joining a tournament and winning a sizable pot relative to their account size is way more attractive than people who are playing gold, diamond, champion leagues coming down and just smashing competition. So Yabba says, that being said, it's also cool to have some lower level tournaments that everyone can play in just to switch things up with the lower level cards. Maybe. I can say for myself, that is not fun at all. but obviously different people have different opinions there. And Biz is saying, he likes at least 50%. So yeah, it doesn't have to be an all or nothing kind of thing, but I think there should be league specific things, just to give those people in those leagues kind of their own thing, And there should be league specific tournaments for champions that have huge payouts, and the competition there would be insane because you'd have all the top players fighting out over a large pot of money. Hagrid says, "Oh, good! Can't wait to completely regret another 40 tournaments." Annual tournament champions. I think that's a great idea, Justin. I think even annual bronze level or silver level or whatever tournaments. I think that'd be lots of fun. Hard work builds character. So obviously Irode and team are listening to the feedback of people complaining in Discord, but as always, it comes down to one, people want to do nothing and get paid, and also the game wants to incentivize building your deck, playing building time. I'm trying to remember the three things Aggro says. It's like stake, time, and skill. Those three things. So time, skill comes with time for the most part. Stake comes from time and or money, and that combination of things I think should be incentivized and rewarded. So I'm a fan of the overall tournament payout system as far as keeping players engaged. But everybody has their own ideas, and I have mine. But you can read the whole post if you like and get into the nitty gritty there. But it's a bit beyond what we have time for at the moment. Iger says he's honored that I remember stuff he says. I remember lots of stuff, sometimes. But Unit QM is saying, is there a league tourney for people who want to play but not own cards? So there kind of is, actually, in that... so I had this NASCAR idea, which I've only done one or maybe two tournaments out of, where I created 8 identical playing decks, and then they would be all entered into a tournament, and then different people, I would hand out posting keys, for a fee, and people could win, battle and win, and we'll see what it is. But that ended up being a lot of work, so I haven't done more of that. So we will see. But if you are in the novice and bronze areas, your virtual cards from your summoner spellbook should be maybe not sufficient, but should at least get you in the tournament. I don't know if you can hear my kids screaming in the background or not, but that's always fun. Joys of working from home. So yeah, that's tournament updates. And other things I wanted to check out at the moment, as I'm getting distracted because of my kids in last place. Yeah, somebody's got me in last place. Sometimes me. I don't actually play a lot of tournaments simply because I'm not good enough to place really well, and it's generally not worth the time for me. But I do some occasionally. But I'm more focused on having more cards and putting them through deck 404. And in fact, I was looking at my winnings over the past little while, and I know you can't see my spreadsheet right now, but just take my word for it that there is one. let's see, last season. So since the 17th, which is the end of the previous season, I've made 220,000 Dark Energy Crystals. And the previous season I made, let's see, let's try to find the large payout number. I made 246,000 Dark Energy Crystals, and that's my 50% owner share of cards that are being played on my behalf. Do I spreadsheet my winnings? Of course I spreadsheet my winnings. Actually, Gerbot has a fantastic command. So you can do like transfers CSV and then an account name. So I could do like aggroed and Dark Energy Crystals, and then it'll parse through the history of Hive Engine, and it'll spit out a CSV file. But that is so that you can download your history, and like if you're in Deck 404, it'll have a memo line saying Deck 404 earnings or winnings. What does it say? It says Deck 404 earnings. So like today or yesterday, I have this payout, that is hard to see, from Magnalium, which is one of my NASCAR accounts that is playing, in through Deck 404, and it paid me 181 as my 50% split as the owner of those cards, and then transaction IDs and all that kind of stuff. So, it's pretty easy to keep track of. As far as my ROI on decks, hard to say because I haven't kept real good track on that. I can tell you I have about 30 million collection power staked in those accounts. It might be a little bit lower than that, but somewhere around there. So if I'm making 200,000 deck per season, and that's actually unoptimized because I still haven't gone back and adjusted for collection power changes. But if I'm making 200,000 a season, times 24, that's 4.8 million on 30 million. That's 15%, 20%, something like that. For doing nothing, just setting it up one time, not too shabby, and that can be boosted. I just haven't really put in the time to, because what happened was when I originally set it up was I had a bunch of regular foil teams and I had a bunch of gold foil teams. So the gold foil teams have like 2 million collection power, but they're still Silver League. So they end up getting into gold, 2, gold 1 maybe, and then that's as far as they can go, because they have the collection power, but they don't have the strength of the deck. So what I need to do is I need to go back and split that up so that my Silver League teams are, have enough collection power across the board in order to get into gold, rather than being limited at like Silver 2 or something like that. So that ROI can and should be boosted. I just haven't done it because I never seem to have like a day to fill with peak monsters and do that delegation. I did it on 2 teams where I took a gold foil water team out of one, replaced it with a regular foil, and then swapped it to the other account. But I've only done that the one time because that was hard enough. When you have as many cards as I do, it becomes like a whole thing to do any major changes like that, just because it's a lot. Anyway, turns out we're coming up on time. I was going to show you some other stuff, but we are out. So thank you all for coming, and hope you have a good week, have a good New Year, and we'll talk next time.